In the second video on quadratic sequences, we are going to apply the methods for which we reviewed the theory in the first video. Our first step will be to work out the difference in between consecutive terms in the sequence. To get this sequence right there, with linear sequence regularly increasing in 4, as shown by the second differences, as shown here. The method presented in your textbook suggests that twice a, which is the coefficient of n squared in the nth term for the quadratic sequence, should be equal to 4 to this second difference, meaning that a is 2. So if we expect the general term for this sequence to be a n squared plus bn plus c, we can expect this a here to be a 2. The next step in this method will be to subtract 2n squared from the sequence, so that these two terms here will actually cancel out and we'll be left with bn plus c, which will be a linear sequence for which we know how to find the nth term. So we are now ready to compare this sequence here with term number 1, term number 2, term number 3 with the sequence 2n squared. So when n is 1, n squared here is 1, so 2n squared is going to be a 2. When n is 2, this n squared is going to be a 4, so 2n squared is going to be a 8, and so on. Getting the difference in between these two sequences leads us to the new sequence 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So this linear sequence here is expected to be the bn plus c. You see that this sequence here, therefore, has general term n plus 2. And I invite you to check the videos on linear sequences if you don't remember quite well how to work out nth term for linear sequences. In the end, we know that this a here was a 2, the bn plus c is n plus 2, so we can write that the general term for the quadratic sequence we were looking at is 2n squared plus n plus 2. We can easily check that this formula is correct if we check the first three terms of the sequence. So if you take n is 1, you get 2 plus 1 plus 2, which is a 5. If you get n is 2, you get twice 4, so it's 8. An extra 2 is a 10, and finally a 12, like shown here. When n is 3, you have twice 9, which is 18, plus 3 plus 2, which is 23.